Welcome to Inside Plug, the podcast where independent creators and entrepreneurs connect and inspire. I'm your host, Devon Jones. Today on our show, we have producer, writer, director, Tebogo Chilohi. Tebogo, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me here, Tebogo.
Glad to have you here. So these projects there's so many questions that I have for these projects, especially the Pazza Lepone. It's very interesting, like the way you came up with that one, and I really have a lot of questions for that one. But before we jump into your projects, when did you decide that filmmaking was gonna be a career path for you?
I think 2008, I was a dancer before, a street dancer, and we came up with another crew that was uh, using the space, our art center in my province, which is called Mabana. So they started developing us, and then one day there was a production that was having auditions for a film. And I just, thought, okay, let me just give it a shot as an actor, because if you are an artist, you can try anything that comes your way. So I was selected for that audition. I had a good role. And then the challenge was the film did not happen because of the finances. So I started shooting with my friends, shooting their music videos, with assistance from your YouTube. So in 2014-15, there was a film and television learnership that was happening in my area, and I applied, and then they took me in, and that's when I got to understand more about film and television. That was 2040, and I've graduated in 2050. So that's when I can say I just got to understand how does this actually works. Yeah.
Awesome. And during that time, were you working on any projects and during your studies?
Yes, I was very experimental. I'm a very experimental person. So even 2013, I got my first TV role in another film that was shot somewhere in Johannesburg. So I did not believe in waiting for opportunities to come. I was just using whatever I had. Yes.
I'm dead. All right, so let's jump into this first project you have, the Shack. When did you decide that, okay, I'm gonna write about this project, I'm gonna bring this project to life? And when did that thought come about? When did that, that seed, when did that story come to mind?
Uh, the shack has always been close to my heart because I grew up in a shack, since 1993. Sorry. So I had most of my life, or most of my teenagehood, in the shack. So I've always wanted to share a story like that, whereby I give uh teenagers like me hope, or courage to say the shack does not living in a shack does not define me. I can be a better person even if I was born or was bred in a shack. So 2020 came COVID. The industry was closed, theaters were closed, cinemas were closed, and we were not able to gather, we were not able to meet with other creatives. And I just thought that for my mental health, I need to create something, you know, because uh, as a creative man, most creatives had went through depression and because they could not create, you know. So I was just in my yard and just remembered that my backyard, I do have a shack in my backyard. So how do I go about it? Because I need to act impulsive now because here's the situation and I cannot complain. If I complain, I, it will never help me. Complaining will never help me because this is a worldwide thing. COVID is a worldwide thing, you know. So I took my camera and started shooting while I'm just, it was an impromptu. It was just an improvisation, you know, just shoot, 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 shoot. And then started editing, chopping, 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 and looked at the story. And then came up with the story after. After the visuals, I started writing the story. Yes. So editing, you know, trial and error, and remember I'm alone, you know. Nobody knew that I'm working on something. So the challenge was the language, but I thought that, you know what, I'll use the subtitles, you know, and it came out as authentic as it is this by the grace of God, or I don't know, you know. So I just got it right. Yeah.
Oh, awesome. Yeah, I like how you use, the resources that you had, the shack that it was the lack of access, you couldn't go anywhere, it was during COVID. And yeah, that's awesome. And so you wrote the shack and you made the film, and then what happened with that?
After that, I started submitting it to film festivals, even though most festivals were just closing down because they they didn't have resources to go virtual, you know. So most festivals could not happen at that time. So there were few festivals, you know. So my first festival was Kismet in the USA. And yeah, they selected me and then they gave me my first award. And it was like something else. Like it gave me hope, you know. So I started submitting, and then, but it was also heartbreaking to hear that some festivals will not be happening, you know. They've just selected us and then they said, no, we won't be able to make it because of the COVID regulations. So unfortunately, probably next year we don't have the resources, you know. But I still remember that first one from Kismet, and it was hectic. And the other saddest part was that how do we celebrate during COVID? You know, how do I celebrate while we are losing our loved ones at the same time? You know, so that was the most painful part to say. I'm watching the news, you know, I'm also watching, I'm checking my emails. I've been selected in a certain country, and then I just watch the news. The statistics are going up for COVID infections, and we are losing the people at the same time. So it was difficult for one to celebrate, to say, yeah, you know, it's like celebrating on a war zone. I think you might relate because you've been to the army, you know, so it was hectic, but you know, interesting at the same time, you know. Yeah,
Yeah,
sure.
definitely, I agree. Yeah, it's tough. It was a really a time where a lot of uncertainty. A lot of people didn't know if they were going to be able to go back to work, if they were going to, be able to go back to school, or, if they had to relocate to another state to be closer to family, even being able to see family, and it was just, yeah, it was a real tough time. And, you pulled this one out, and that's awesome. So congratulations, by the way, winning that award. Even your first one is your best one, but it with 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 the inspiration that got from just your upbringing to making this project, it's not going to be a last one. There's many more in your future. Um,
Oh,
and and I like the saying that you have with this next project that we're about to talk about. So it says, where does real inspiration and creativity come from? Inspiration and creativity can come from many sources. And just like we discussed earlier with the shack, that was one of those sources. So now let's talk about this next project, Bazza Lebone.
oh, Butsa Lebone. Butsa Lebone is it's a Tswana name, and Butsa means ask, and then Lebone is more like a lamp or a light, you know. So the story behind that was based more on like most of the time when we want to know something, we go into the internet, you know. So my question was, can the internet give us or provide us with spiritual questions too? I don't know if I'm clear. Like some things are spiritual. So while we are living in the information age or the fourth industrial revolution, it's more like we rely on asking the internet more than asking ourselves or our inner selves sometimes. To it's like we shouldn't lack the part of believing in ourselves because we are spiritual beings, you know. So even if you look at the setup of the film, is the keyboard and the candle, you know, and the guy is trying to come up with a great idea for a film. He wants to make a blockbuster. He wants to make an award-winning film. But now he's asking the candle through the keyboard. And the only way to light the candle, you cannot light the candle through the keyboard. You can only use the matches or the lighter. So that's the abstract behind the whole setup, you know. And I've also dedicated it to my late father, Victor Toto. Yes. So that's just the crazy idea that just came one time in December. It was during December. I had a friend over. He had a new iPhone, you know. So I just thought, no, let me test that one. It looks, the visuals look crispy, but I have an idea that will just uh, put us in a state whereby we need to question ourselves as human beings to say, will technology solve all our problems? Or are we also going to take part as spiritual beings? You know, yeah. So that's how it goes. Gio.
Awesome. I love it. I love it. All right. Tebogo, do you have any um a place where people can go to watch your films? You have a website or a social media channel?
Yes, I do have a YouTube channel. You just type Tebogo Chuluhi and then you will see all my films. and most of them are experimental short films.
All right, and we'll get those links in the description box so everyone can check those out. All right, Tebogo, we're at that part of the show where I ask the guests this question. What is a book, a TV show, or a film that you recommend to an aspiring filmmaker?
A film. I would say they must go watch Karpenam. Karpenam. It's an Indian film. It was shot in 20, it was released in 2018. Yeah, they must go check Karpenam. They must check Get Out. Get Out is also a low budget type of a film, but it's great. Yeah. Yeah. I would recommend it too. Sure.
So, all right, everyone, that was actor Tebogo Chilohi. Tebogo, thank you again for joining us today.
Thank you for having me, sir. Thank you for an invitation, and thank you for recognizing my work where I am. South Africa, Northwest Province, Mahike, the capital city of the province, So thank you for having me, sir.
Hey, us creators got to stick together. All right, everyone. Speaking of creators, if you love what you heard today, don't forget to check out some of our previous episodes. And don't forget, we're here every Tuesday at 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. That's on YouTube, Inside Plug with 2 Gs. Also, www.insideplug.com. All right, everyone. This has been Devon Jones, your host. Stay inspired, keep creating. Inside Plug, signing out.